Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, out of Voice of Radio. So today, we're going to be taking a little bit of a look at, well, a new Vaporeon card. And as weird as this might sound, this is the most Vaporeon card we might have ever seen. Yeah, well, we'll explain that in a second. Our translation comes from the lovely Antoine Boulet, and if we start off having a little bit of a look at the basics, it's got 110 HP. Sounds about right. We looked at a Flareon the other day. Yes, there are similarities. The Flareon has 110 HP, so that's kind of cool, I suppose. We can be on board with this. It's got a retreat cost of 2, which is in that annoying realm where you don't get U-turn board or buff padding, so boo, hiss, etc. It's got a weakness to grass, which is fine. Grass just is not seeing play right now, and if it ever does see play, decks like Reshiram and Charizard are going to come and smash it, so you're pretty good in terms of your weakness. And being a water Pokemon's alright, you're hitting weakness against the aforementioned Reshiram and Charizard. Though do bear in mind they tend to use Mewtwo and Mew so they can cover their weakness quite nicely. And you get some other little advantages as well. You've got Quagsire to move your energy around. Maybe you accelerate it with Naganadel. We have lost Aqua Patch, which does kind of suck. And we have lost Dive Ball and Brooklet Hill, which were awesome. But it's not the end of the world. You've still got Crash Awake if you want to go and search some stuff. And we've still got Switch Raft if you want to switch and heal. So it's not a bad time to be a water Pokemon. But what does it actually do? Well, according to the lovely Antoine Boulet, the ability here says, while this Pokemon is in play, your GX Pokemon that evolve from Eevee have 60 more HP. You cannot apply more than one of this ability at a time. So you cannot have 4 Vaporeon out and be sitting there with an extra 240 HP. I mean, that would be kind of funny, sitting there with a Flareon that had 470 HP. That would be awesome. But no, you can't have this, ladies and gentlemen. Unfortunately, this is a one-time deal, but it would still give Flareon 270 HP. This is still pretty gosh darn good. But speaking of Flareon, we need to remind ourselves about the other Flareon here. Because now this is coming out in Sun and Moon 12A, Tag All-Stars over in Japan. And we saw a Flareon the other day. Speaking of which, the artwork on both of these cars is flat out phenomenal. And the Flareon says that your GX Pokemon that evolve from Eevee do 30 more damage to the active. So if you get both of these out, all of your GX evolutions of Eevee do 30 more and have 60 more HP. I mean, if we compare this to something like the Wishy-Washy from Dragon Majesty, for instance, that means you do 20 more and have 20 more HP, but that's a 30 HP liability on the bench. I mean, think back to Expert Belt. We had this a while ago, right? Expert Belt was a tool card that gave you an extra 20 HP and meant you did an extra 20 damage, but it was deemed so good that the Pokemon to which it was attached gave up an extra prize when it got KO'd. Well, this is 60 more HP, 20 more damage, and you don't even give up an extra prize. Now, they are stage 1s, and they do take up 2 bench spaces, so, you know, something to bear in mind. Now, of course, we don't have a Jolteon. And these are the Gen 1 Eevees, right? They come in a trio, so I'm calling it now. We are going to have a Jolteon in this set that either gives free retreat to all of your Eeveelutions, or I believe it's going to say all of your GXs that evolve from Eevee have their retreat cost reduced by 2. That is my prediction. Incidentally, that will give Flareon and Vaporeon free retreat, which would be quite nice. In fact, it would give all of them free retreat. That's my prediction. Calling it now. But we'll have to wait till that one's officially revealed. When it is revealed, I will let you know. I'll make a video. We'll have a chat about it. So, of course, the question then becomes, which Eeveelutions do we actually have ready to use at the moment? Well, Umbreon and Espeon, they have rotated out. Boo, hiss, etc. Leafeon GX is legal, and I like the ability that heals. And I like the GX attack that evolves your bench Pokemon, but it's not particularly good or relevant. So that essentially leaves us with 4. We've got Glaceon. Now, Glaceon is cool. Glaceon's ability turns off GX abilities for your opponent. Also EX abilities. 90 to the active, 30 to the bench is fine. I like the GX that does 50 damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active, especially after using Frost Bullet a couple times to put some damage on. So now putting it at 260 HP with Frost Bullet doing 120 to the active, this gets a lot better. This is kind of cool. Especially, Glaceon GX is a kind of Pokemon you whack in the active, and it's there to try and disrupt your opponent. So the longer it can stay around, the longer it can be in the active, the better it's going to be. I really like this with Glaceon. But there's also a really nice combo here with Vaporeon GX. You see, Vaporeon GX has the lovely ability Hydrating Drops. Once during your turn, you may heal 30 from your active water Pokemon. And yes, this one does stack. So you can potentially have 60 more HP and be healing 30. Now this only works for Vaporeon and Glaceon because they're the only water ones. Although water is the only type that has 2 in the TCG, so that's kind of cool. And just sit there and be a bit of a tank. And if Glaceon's sitting there turning off abilities with 260 HP, healing 60, 90, maybe even 120 every turn, that's pretty gosh darned awesome. I love this. This is really cool. Then we've got Flareon, who will go up to 270 HP. It's got decently big attacks, 30 damage for 1 energy, attach free fire from your hand to your Pokemon in any way you like, or 190 for free energy, discard 2. Also, shout out to the GX attack, 20 damage for each fire energy in your discard pile. You should then bring in Victini Prism Star, who has the same attack, except it then shuffles all the energy back into your deck. But use a GX attack, then Victini Prism Star, you get 2 bites at the apple. And then the last one we've got is Jolteon GX, who goes up to 260 HP, already has free retreat, and has got decent low energy attacks, but you can use Electro Power to add a bit of damage. And then of course you've got Flareon adding the damage as well. Looking purely at which of these combo best, it's Glaceon and Vaporeon. And making a deck with those where you've got the extra HP and you're healing and you're blocking. It works with the other Eeveelutions, but it's best with the water ones. Now we do need to look at the Eevee situation here because of course we've lost the Energy Evolution Eevee, the one that lets you cheat the rules of evolution. Now the good news is that Eevee GX is a thing and that Eevee has a different name to Eevee GX. So you can actually here play 4 Eevee GX and 4 Eevee and evolve them so you can literally have 6 Eeveelutions out, which you cannot do for other evolution lines. Now, that does mean you're playing 4 Pokemon that have 160 HP, a pretty bad weakness, and give up 2 prizes, but at least it gives you an option. You are not restricted to playing 4 Pokemon that evolve from Eevee. You can go for 6 here. We can go for 8, but only have 6 on the board at once. And I don't like Eevee GX being a liability, but I do like the idea of having a Vaporeon out and some Vaporeon GXs and rolling with Glaceon and just being like, hey, I'm healing and I've got extra HP and I'm blocking your abilities. That seems fun to me. Now, as for the attack here, it's not amazing, but it does fit nicely and it's a very Vaporeon thing to do. Water, double colourless, 60 damage, heal 30 from each of your Pokemon. That is both your bench Pokemon and Vaporeon. I like the healing that you do. I like the combo with Vaporeon GX. Bearing in mind Vaporeon GX will also heal you in the active. But you're talking free energy. You've got 110 HP. It's a little bit weak to be sitting in the active healing all of your Pokemon. Although, once again, the artwork here is stunning. I do think that this could be kind of cool with Quagsire to kind of move the energy around, get it out a bit more easily, but then your bench is really getting awkward because you want a few Vaporeon GX, you want your Vaporeon, you may well want a Flareon, you've only got so much room. So the attack is good, But free energy on 110 HP Pokemon, I think we're probably going to want to attack with Glaceon or maybe Vaporeon, although Vaporeon does more damage for each water energy on it, so Vaporeon really will want the Naganadel Quagsire combination. Either way, I really like this, even if for no other reason than gaining extra HP, and honestly, from now until it rotates, if you want to play a GX Pokemon that evolves from Eevee, this seems like a no-brainer, just like the Flareon. We'll have to wait till the Jolteon gets revealed, but for now, I'm giving it 4 Wassies. But the thing is, it's kind of a 5 Wassie card in an Eevee GX deck, and like a 2 Wassie card outside of that, so maybe 2's a bit harsh. I'm giving it 4 Wassies anyway. If you want to argue with me, that's why there's a comment section. Go nuts! Be nice! Seriously, tell me what you think about this card. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWassie, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, where you can do exactly that. And please do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassiePlays, where we talk about a whole bunch of games that don't even have any Pokemon in. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.